When I started using Claude AI at work, I did what most people do. I used it for things that felt obvious: drafting emails, looking things up, asking it to summarize something. I thought I was getting the benefit of it. I wasn't. Not really. Because I didn't know the 5 things that actually change how you work. The ones that take 10 minutes or less to learn and produce results you notice immediately. This episode is those 5 things, in order, starting with the one that takes the least time and delivers the most obvious payback. One thing before we start. Each of these 5 wins stands alone. If you only have 10 minutes, pick the one that solves the problem you have right now, and start there. You don't need to do all 5 today. You just need to do the next one. By the end of the episode, you'll have 5 new capabilities, things you can use in your next meeting, your next document, your next communication. None of them require setup. None of them require training. Just a brief and Claude AI. Let's go. Quick win number 1. Turn any long document into a 2-minute briefing. Here's the situation. A 40-page report lands in your inbox, a document you need to engage with substantively, a set of meeting notes from a session you missed. You don't have time to read it properly, but you need to know what's in it. Here's the brief. I have a type of document. I need to understand it in 2 minutes. Tell me the 3 most important things it says, what decision or action it requires from me, if any, and one thing in it that might come up in conversation that I should be prepared for. Then paste the document. What comes back is not a generic summary. It's a filtered, prioritized briefing, calibrated to what you actually need, not what the document covers proportionally. The key element is the questions. Summarize this produces a summary. Tell me the 3 most important things and what requires a decision from me produces a briefing. The questions turn passive summarization into acted intelligence. Time investment, 30 seconds to write the brief. 2 minutes to read what comes back. You're ready. Quick win number 2. Write your weekly update in under 2 minutes. The weekly update is one of the most consistently painful professional writing tasks. Not because it's hard, because it's recurring. You have to produce it every week. It always takes longer than it should, and by Friday afternoon, you'd rather be doing almost anything else. Here's the brief that takes 2 minutes. Weekly update for audience, my manager, my team, the leadership group. This week, 3 to 5 bullet points of what actually happened. Just the facts, no sentences needed. What's coming next week? 2 or 3 things. Anything to flag. Issues, delays, decisions needed, or nothing to flag. Tone. Direct and factual, warm and brief, whatever fits your context. Format. Short paragraphs, bullet points. Around X words. Fill in the brackets. The bullet points under this week are the key. You don't need sentences, just facts. Project A delivered Thursday. Client call went well. Budget variance flagged and being addressed. That's enough. Claude AI builds the narrative from those facts. Time to brief, 90 seconds. Output is usually ready to send with 1 small direction or none. Weekly update, done. Quick win number 3. Prepare for any meeting in 10 minutes. Most professionals walk into at least 1 meeting a week underprepared. Not because they didn't have time, because preparation felt like it required more time than they had. 10 minutes doesn't feel like enough, so they wing it. 10 minutes is enough. Here's why. The brief. I have a type of meeting: performance review, client update, stakeholder alignment, difficult conversation, in time frame. Attending, names and what you know about them. My objective, what I want to achieve or leave with. Their likely position, what they're expecting, hoping for, or worried about. The tricky part, the question I'm not sure how to answer, the tension I need to navigate, the thing that might go wrong. Help me with how to open, the 2 or 3 things I need to land, and how to handle the tricky part. That last element, the tricky part, is what makes this genuinely useful rather than generic. Claude AI can't prepare you for the hard parts of a meeting if you don't tell it what they are. When you do, what comes back is a complete framework for wherever the conversation goes. 10 minutes, prepared for whatever happens. Quick win number 4. Make any Claude AI output sound like you. Here's the complaint I hear more than any other about Claude AI. The output is fine, but it doesn't sound like me. It's a brief problem, not a model problem. And the fix is 2 words: toward and away from. Instead of writing professional tone in your brief, which Claude AI will interpret as the average of professional writing, write this: tone, moving toward what you want it to feel like, moving away from what you want to avoid. Moving toward warm and direct, moving away from apologetic or over-explained. Moving toward confident and specific, moving away from hedged or corporate. Moving toward accountable and forward-looking, moving away from defensive. 2 directions instead of 1. Claude AI now knows not just what you want, but what you're trying to avoid, which is almost always the harder problem. Try it on your next brief. The difference in what comes back is immediate. Quick win number 5. Stop re-explaining yourself every time. Every time you start a new Claude AI conversation, it starts from 0. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know who your stakeholders are. It doesn't know what tone works in your context or what you've been working on. So you explain it every time. That's the context tax, and most people pay it on every single task. There's a fix. It's called a co-work project, and it's where Claude AI lives between conversations. Here's what you write in it once. This project covers what the project is. I am your role. Key people, name, what they care about, how they communicate. Current focus, what's most active right now. Always, what to always include. Never, what to avoid. Tone, how outputs should feel. 15 minutes to write it. And from that point, every brief in this project is shorter because the context is already there. The outputs are more specific because Claude AI is working from a complete picture. And it compounds. The longer you use the project, the better it gets. Most professionals who set this up say the same thing 2 weeks later. They can't believe they were re-explaining their context from scratch on every task. Here's what these 5 things have in common and why they work when most AI use doesn't. They're all about the brief. The document briefing works because you ask specific questions instead of asking for a summary. The weekly update works because you give Claude AI facts and it builds the narrative. The meeting prep works because you name the tricky part. The tone fix works because you give 2 directions instead of 1. The co-work project works because you write the brief once and it carries forever. In every case, the quality of what comes back is determined by the quality of what you put in. Claude AI doesn't get better outputs by being smarter. It gets better outputs because you give it better information. That's the one thing that changes everything. And these 5 wins are the fastest way to feel it. All 5 on one screen. Win 1. Turn any long document into a 2-minute briefing. Ask for the 3 most important things, any decisions required, and 1 thing to be prepared for in conversation. Win 2. Write your weekly update in 90 seconds. Bullet points of facts, Claude AI builds the narrative. Win 3. Prepare for any meeting in 10 minutes. 5 elements: type, attendees, objective, their likely position, the tricky part. Win 4. Make any output sound like you, toward and away from, 2 directions instead of 1. Win 5. Stop re-explaining yourself. 1 co-work project, written once, carries the context permanently. 2 things in the description. The brief, 1 page, free. All 5 brief templates from this episode on 1 printable sheet. Keep it accessible. Your first week with Claude AI at work, $30. Builds all 5 of these into a full working system across 5 days, including the co-work setup from Win 5 and the meeting prep framework from Win 3 with 5 worked examples. Both links in the description, via Claude for Lawyers on Gumroad, same creator. That's episode 15. 5 things, each one under 10 minutes. Each one producing results you notice today. Serious skills, actual output every time. See you in the next one.